Hey, what's going on, everybody? You already know what it is. We make art, we sell art in your face with in your face art, man. Hey, we're gonna be doing this video today about how I started my art journey. A lot of people always ask me, like, man, how long have you been drawing? How did you get started? And I kind of want to just walk through how I got to this point. Before we get started into this video, man, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff helps with the algorithm to get my videos up there, man. We are on our road to 1 million subscribers. And also, if you like any of the artwork that you see me working on, I have tons of different t-shirts, posters, canvases, all that cool stuff in the link in the description. And you'll be able to purchase that and I'll ship it right to your doorstep. You already know what it is. So let's get into it, man. In your face. All right. So how did I get started into art? Like, what was my introduction? Where was the introduction point? Well, I have been drawing for a very, very long time. I've been drawing since I had to be about 4 years old when I was like actually playing around with artwork. I was coloring in coloring books. I was tracing coloring books as a kid. It was just something that was naturally drawn to me. It wasn't something that I went out of my way to try to do. It was just something that I naturally did. So, I think it's been a part of my life, and I didn't realize that it was a part of my life like that. Come to find out that my grandfather was an artist. Some of my aunties, my father, there's different people in my family that were artists. Now, growing up as a child, I didn't know this. I had no idea that all these people in my family were artists. I wasn't around them much at the beginning, not that I can remember because I was with my mom. So, drawing always got me into trouble as a child because I was always drawing in class and not necessarily always paying attention to what was going on or paying attention to the lesson at hand. So it would land me in trouble. I would either be sitting on a desk, sitting with a desk outside the classroom, getting in trouble, getting bad grades, things of that sort. I was like a majorly bad kid, but I just didn't really care for anything else. I like gym, I like things like that, but I didn't really care about science, social studies, anything like that. But when it came to art, if it came to drawing or coloring or anything like that, man, I always had tons and tons of notebooks with like Dragon Ball Z characters in it and making up my own little characters, things like that. So, that was always fun. It was always something that was a part of me. It was a part of my day. It's just something that I just love to do. I will find myself just disappearing into the artwork for hours and hours on end. It was absolutely amazing and it was absolutely a lot of fun. So, long story short, when it came to starting, like, I guess, well, it wasn't even be a career, right? But I was watching a movie. I don't know if some of you guys remember it, but it had a little Bow Wow in it, and it was called Like Mike. Now, Like Mike had a music video to it, and in this music video, Bow Wow was wearing a pair of Timberlands that were customized. I mean, they were airbrushed, they were cool. They had like the little paws on the side of the Timberland boots, and they were awesome. I'm like, dude, I've got to like one get some Timberlands and some boots like that, but two, I was like, man, you can draw on shoes. Like it just blew my mind. Like his shirt was airbrushed and all that. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, yo, this dude Bow Wow is the coolest thing ever, right? So I had a friend whose father, rest in peace, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith was a phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal artist. This man could draw, he could paint, he could carve, he could do all kinds of stuff. And he literally took out the time to teach me and show me about painting. So what he did was he had this, man, I think my dad probably still has it at his house, but he made me this well, I don't know if he made it for me, but he did give me this Scooby Doo hat. So it was a Scooby Doo hat that it was a regular hat, but he painted with tulip paint. He painted these different faces of Scooby Doo on this red hat. I will never forget this, man. And he gave it to me. And it meant so much to me because it was the first piece of custom art or clothing that I ever had. So it lit a fire under me. My stepmom at the time, she took me to Walmart. And while we were there, I was like, hey, I would like this tulip paint. It's this puffy paint. It's called tulip paint. If you go to Walmart, I think it's still there to this day. But it was this really thick paint that could adhere to clothing and, shoes or whatever. It wasn't the best in the world. If you didn't know what you were doing, it could be a complete mess. And trust me when I tell you, I didn't know what I was doing. I was all over the place. But I was determined to learn how to do what Mr. Smith did. So I started making t-shirts. I was making my own, shirts and things like that to school. And I would get some compliments. Some people be like, yo, that's dope. Some people thought it was lame or whatever. But for majority of the people thought it was dope because people started asking me to make them stuff. And I'm like, man, this is cool because, we didn't always have like I keep saying this. And before I say this, listen, my father and my stepmom, they did the best they could raising us. Anything we wanted, when we wanted video games and stuff, we had it. I want to put that disclaimer out there to not make it seem like, oh, they were just bums or something. Like, no, but we didn't have like the latest Jordans and all that. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. And it's okay. But when that happens, guys know how it is when it's in school. When you're in school, people pick on you for not having the latest name brand stuff. Even though they didn't get it themselves, it's their parents getting it for them. They still want to talk smack and things like that. So when I finally figured out how to somewhat, make my own t-shirts and paint on things, it really separated me from everybody else because although it was a name brand, it was different, it was unique, and it was fly. So one day, I forgot what happened. I think I was playing basketball or something. But I think I left one of my t-shirts that I painted on at the basketball court. When I came back, man, that mug was gone. And I'm like, yo, somebody took the t-shirt. So I felt devastated. In my mind at the time, somebody robbed me, somebody stole it from me, which, they really didn't. It was like finders keepers in a way, but they still did. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, I was like, man, if it's that good to steal, then it's that good to sell. I can do something with this. You know what I'm saying? People might actually like this. So here we go. It didn't start out immediately, but long story short, I eventually started selling my t-shirts, right? So I moved. I was living in Indianapolis at the time, and I was selling I'm trying to remember if this is before or after. No, so before I get to that part, I was painting on my clothes. I was painting on my shirts and all that, and it was looking pretty cool, but it was kind of sloppy. Like now that I look back on it, like I would just paint straight out the bottle, so I wasn't smoothing it with a paintbrush or anything. It was real heavy. Took forever to dry, but it still looked okay. But compared to my standards now, oh, absolutely horrendous, horrible, right? So I was doing it for a while though. It was cool. People loved what I did. It was pretty cool. Everywhere I went, I got compliments, whatever. So one day I'm in the mall and I have my whole outfit done. I'm with some people, whatever. I can't even remember who I was with. We were kicking in, we were chilling, and I ran into this guy. There's this guy, his name is David Steiner the third. All right, call him DS3. So David, he was walking on his business and he had these pair of shorts that he did, right? And these pair of shorts, they were painted similar to what I do, but his looked so professional. His looked so smooth. It looked like it came out of the store. And I'm like, these are awesome. So the people I was with, they were like, hey man, hey, because my name was Easy at the time. So everybody, they were like, yo, Easy, your stuff dope, but this dude's stuff is crazy. Yo, his stuff is super dope. And I'm like, you know what, man, y'all right. See, I could have got mad. I could have got angry. I could have got jealous. Nah, I walked up to him. I'm like, hey, dude, hey, listen, bro, your stuff is absolutely amazing. Could you teach me? I want to learn. I want to learn from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I get this good? What can I do to get to your level, man? This is absolutely amazing. And he could have been on some gatekeeping type stuff. He could have been like, nah, man. You know what I'm saying? You just got to keep working hard and, eventually you'll get there. Nah, he took me under his wing and he got my information. He said, yo, this is my number. We going to link up. So, long story short, I link up with this guy and I learn to do what he did. I started figuring it out. He taught me. I started using it. 'Cause what he did was he would, you could apply white down first, even on black jeans or whatever. Draw your picture, apply the white down, and then color on top of it. But using the paintbrush, smoothed it out and everything, made it look so professional, right? So eventually, I got it down pat. Got it down pat, and it was cool for a while. But although I was doing this, I wasn't making no real money, right? I started working for DJ Black, who was the DJ for 3 6 Mafia at the time. I don't know if he's still their DJ or not, but he was the DJ for 3 6 Mafia at the time. And I was working in his store, in his CD shop, and he would let me sell my t-shirts and stuff in there. So I started getting better. Worked with some people that work with, I think it was Joel Santana Skull Gang. I worked with, because I'm in Indianapolis, so. And I started working with different people here and there. I started actually making some sales here and there, right? Rest in peace t-shirts, things like that. But eventually, when I moved, I'm trying to see how I went. When I moved to Atlanta, this is back in 2010. I really wasn't selling the gear like that. It was more so for me to wear because I was really getting into the rap scene and the music scene. So everywhere I went, people knew me because I was customizing my shoes, I was customizing my t-shirts, but this is still all paint. It's still all paint, right? So I was doing the music, doing the music for a long time. Eventually, I got out of the music and I started customizing shoes. Now, this is when I was taking YouTube on my other YouTube channel really seriously, man. And I lost that YouTube channel, but that's a story for another time. And if you guys want to hear about that on how I lost my first YouTube channel, which when I lost it, I had like 15,000 subscribers, hit in the comment below if that's what you would like. Go ahead and comment right now if you want to hear about that story, and I'll tell that story in another video. But while I was in the rap scene, eventually I got out of it and I started getting into customizing shoes, because at the time, people been customizing shoes since the 80s, okay? It's not nothing new. But there was these new paints out, there was new ways people were doing stuff, and social media was starting to blow, right? So you got Instagram popping off. I think even at the time, I don't remember exactly when, but I remember when TikTok was called Musically, okay? Like, this is before it was even called TikTok. So I started posting videos and stuff like that. There was a guy who really inspired me, man. His name was Lano. I don't know what happened to this dude. Some people say he was on the run. I don't know. But he really inspired me. And there was another guy, I can't remember his name, but he would it's a process of how you draw, but you do it with dots, stippling or something like that. It was another guy doing that who inspired me. Yeah, Lano, he disappeared. This dude who's doing the stippling, he literally blocked me because I was trying to learn how to do what he do. So you're gonna see this pattern along the line. If you're an artist, and not every artist to do this, but if you're an artist and you're trying to learn, you will literally have some artists who don't want you to learn, who will try to gatekeep it for themselves, and will do whatever they can do to crush you. Okay, just is what it is. That's just reality. Understand, it happens sometimes. But anyway, they inspired me, so I started doing the shoes and stuff. Oh, but the one guy who did show me love, he's a big time shoe designer. Shout out to my boy. If y'all don't know him, look him up. His name is Serato. Now, Serato is on Instagram. We actually got to meet in person and everything. Dude is big time. He does all the custom shoes for all the NBA players, all that stuff, right? We actually got a chance to meet each other, and he was a great inspiration to me too. So I started doing the custom shoe thing, and that's when I really started getting on an actual art hustle where I was like, okay, I'm actually making money from this. Not so much money where I didn't have to work for anybody, but I was making enough money to the point where I'm like, okay, this is a legitimate side hustle, and maybe I can build some type of career or celebrity status with doing these shoes, okay? Because I started doing shoes for different people in the industry. I done gave shoes to Ryan Davis. I done gave shoes to Tekashi 69. I done gave shoes like just Timberlands and all type of stuff. And people were paying me some good money. I even had people overseas buying shoes from me, right? So it started getting crazy. I'm like, yo, this is awesome. So I'm making shoes. But it was like, every time I sat down to do a pair, and this is where Miss in Your Face come into play. Okay. Now, if you guys don't know, you know what I'm saying, Got some things going on with me and Missing Your Face, but she is the one who inspired me to get out of the shoe game. Okay. You're like, well, what do you mean? Well, I was doing the shoes, I was making money, but I wasn't making real money. See, I'm thinking like, okay, man, I made $300, $250 from a pair of shoes. I'm thinking that's good. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is good. We're making some pretty good money. For the time, I thought that was pretty good money. But in actuality, it wasn't that much. Well, in contrast to how much work I was putting in. So what Missing Your Face told me, she was like, hey, look, how much money are you making every time you do these shoes? And how many hours is it taking you to do it? You're trading your time for money. If you were able to duplicate what you were doing from drawing at one time, then you will make a lot more money. Now, usually I can be a stubborn guy, right? I'm the type of guy that's like, look, man, I got what I got going on. I'm doing what I want to do, this, and that. And, I just do what I want to do. Bump my head, bump my head. But something told me to listen. Something told me, you know what, man? I'm going to try. I am going to try to see, what can I do to make more money from my product and see how much more money I actually can make if I do it another way. Now, remind you, I've been doing it that way for a long time. I won awards. I was featured in nonprofit organizations. I was rocking with Can I Kick It? All these different people, man. I was doing sneaker conventions, all that stuff, right? So to just switch completely and do something completely different was like, yo, what are you doing here? I mean, I've been knowing how to paint my whole life, like painting, color pencils, drawing, pencils, like that was my life, for the long markers. That's all I knew. So eventually I started, well, not eventually. I just went ahead and started getting canvases, right? So we got a Cricut. Oh no, the Cricut was to do designs and stuff on the shoe, but we got some canvases, we got some paint brushes, and then we got some paint. All right, and it was like, all right, cool. So let's start by drawing our own canvases and stuff, right? It was kind of like the shoes, but for one, it was one size fit all. See, with shoes, you got to make sure you have the sizes. People want custom stuff. And I said, okay, look, I'm going to make these canvases and stuff, and we'll be able to sell the canvases. So I started doing that and stuff. And I actually sold one canvas while I was actually on a job. It's the same place I was trying to get a job at. It was being a security guard at this place. But this guy, man, shout out to him, man. He really, really looked out for me, man. He bought one of my canvases and stuff, man. It's really, really cool dude. But he bought one of my canvases, and it was a Michael Jackson canvas that I had. He bought that. So I was trying to sell my canvases at different events and things like that. And then eventually I found out about Procreate. All right. See, now that's how we got all the way here to Procreate. So I found out about Procreate, and I'm like, yo, this thing, I was telling Missing Your Face, I'm like, yo, there's this thing called Procreate that if I can draw with my finger, because you can draw on your phone. So I was drawing on my phone at the time, and I was working as a security guard. So I drew with my phone, and I drew a picture of Hercule. So I figured out how to, work all the tools and stuff on the phone, and I drew a picture of Hercule. I started with my finger, but I remembered I had a stylus. I had a stylus pen from years ago. I'm talking about like back in 2014, because I was kind of interested in doing digital art. This, man, I had just got my very first smartphone. Didn't know anything about using smartphones and all that. And I bought the stylus, but I didn't know what type of pad. I didn't know anything about an iPad. I didn't know nothing about a Wacom tablet, none of that stuff. So it just sat there for years. I remembered it, went to my storage and found the stylus pen, and it worked. The very first picture I ever drew and got printed was this right here. This picture of Hercule. If y'all can see that. Very first I ever did. And I got it printed as a sticker, and I lost my mind. I couldn't believe that you can draw something on a computer, because I used to draw with a mouse and the little paint thing that was, on the Microsoft back in the day as a kid, but never knew you could actually pick up a pen and get busy on a computer, right? I'm like, yo, this changed the game. All the colors, the gestures, the tools, the easy way to fill in things. I don't have to fill everything step by step. Like, it was a game changer for me. I couldn't believe it. It blew my mind away, right? So I'm like, yo, this is incredible. So then it went from making my first sticker to making my first poster. When I made my first poster, I was so ecstatic. I went into my job. I was all happy. I was telling everybody about it and stuff. I'm like, yo, oh my God, man. Like, dude, y'all don't understand. I went in there looking at me like I was crazy. I'm like, no, y'all don't understand, man. Like, this is game changing. I can literally draw something one time and multiply it plenty of times. So Missing Your Face, she the one that got me my very first iPad, right? So I owe a lot to Missing Your Face, man. She was really there for me a lot, man. Um, and my big brother Jay the Hitman, he told me years ago, man, like, yo, man, if there's a way to duplicate your artwork, but we just didn't know back then. We just had no idea. Thank God I stumbled upon Procreate, and I don't know how I did. I don't know if it was an advertisement or something, but I stumbled upon it, right? And listening to my brother and listening to Missing Your Face, just planting those seeds in my head to try something different. So I started playing around with the iPad and playing around with Procreate nonstop. I was addicted. Okay, I was working as a security guard, overnight shifts, and I'm talking about I'm walking around checking everything, 10-4, everything clear, and I would have my iPad on me and I would draw. Okay, I would draw for 30 minutes, then get back to work. Draw another 30 minutes, get back to work. I didn't care. I wanted to learn. I was hooked. I was so hooked to learning how to draw on the computer because and there was two artists who really inspired me. I'm not gonna name their names because we really ain't cool like that. But there were two digital artists who inspired the heck out of me. All right. And anytime people know who they are and ask me about them, I give them their respect. I give them praise. I give them all that. But it's never good enough for one of them. One of them is to me, he's a psychopath, but he's an amazing artist. So I get a chance to meet these individuals and I started doing shows. I started out small though. Like first I was just doing the posters. So when I was doing the posters, I was selling posters at sneaker conventions. I was selling posters at different my first I think it was like a sneaker con or something like that in Atlanta. I was selling them in the dance club, the strip clubs. Like I was selling my posters wherever I could until eventually I found out about selling t-shirts. So then when I started finding out about selling t-shirts, I got my first big break. I did a Power Ranger convention. And unfortunately, next year is going to be their very last convention. So I got to definitely show up and show them love. But the Power Ranger convention is their very, very last convention. And it was my very first break. So it was, I'm trying to remember if the Green Ranger, if I met him at that one. But no, no, no. I don't think I met him at that one, but I think he was there. Maybe not. But I know Chris Sabat was there. Okay. If you don't know who Chris Sabat is, Chris Sabat is the voice actor of Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, a major, major icon. Just in general, not even just anime, man, just video games, anime, movies, all that. Chris Sabat is that dude, man. He has a lot of legendary voices under his belt. And like I said, he voice act the legendary Vegeta, right, from Dragon Ball Z. So me being a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, pretty much lost my mind. He let me skip the line. I get in line. He signs my picture. He does voiceovers for me, shouts me out, all that stuff, man. Showed me mad love. I will always have love and respect for Chris Sabat. That guy is absolutely amazing. So that was my first break, man. And just and then I started making money. I've learned my T-shirt connect, find out who they were. Started learning how to do T-shirts. Then it went from T-shirts to long sleeve, then hoodies. Then, hey, it just started taking off from there. And that's how we got to this point right here, man. I've been doing digital art now for about 4.5, 5 years, I say. I've been doing it for a while now. The shows been about 4 years, I think. Yeah, probably like 3.5, maybe 4 years for the shows. And I've done every single major show I've wanted to do except for like three. There's only three shows I haven't done. I haven't done New York Comic Con, which I got invited to. I gotta Make sure I do that next year. Dragon Con, I never even applied, so I don't know if I never got in there. Definitely no, four. Dragon Con, New York Comic Con, MomoCon. Everybody wants me to do that show. It's people already be walking to that show with my t-shirts on, and I think it's a show in Seattle or something like that. But other than that, man, I've done from Miami to Boston, Indianapolis, to all the Florida shows, MegaCons, Texas, all throughout Texas, Salt Lake City, California, San Francisco. I've done shows in all those places. My next goals when it comes to shows, if I even continue to do them, will be international. So I definitely want to be doing some shows in Canada. I want to do some shows in Brazil. So I definitely want to do that too. But that's my journey on how I got to this point. There's a lot of things that happen in between and things like that, but you guys can get the gist of it, right? So I gotta try to go ahead and get my affiliate links with Amazon, because all the tools, everything that I use, from what pen I use, the iPad, what programs I use, I want to have all that there for you guys. If you ever want to get started onto your digital art journey, you can. But there's a lot of people that always ask me like, "Hey man, I see you draw this, but can you draw digital?" I'm like, can you draw traditional? Like, dude, I've been doing that my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I've been drawing traditional my whole life. I just found out about doing this stuff like, literally like a few years ago. So it just always makes me laugh when people ask me like, "Oh man, but I see you draw that, but can you draw for real? Like, I'm like, dude, this is drawing for real. Like, what are you talking about? It's the same. It's just different tools that I'm using, but the way my brain works and goes through my fingers to be able to draw out something, create something, one may be a little bit easier than the other when it comes to how fast you can color, or how you can adjust things, but still, it's still art. And I've been doing this a very, very long time. So I hope that answers some of y'all question, and I hope you get enjoyment from this video. But yeah, man, that is how I got into doing digital art. So you already know what it is. We make art, we sell art. In your face, hey, please, like I said, again, if you made it this far, all right, I'm gonna give y'all something. If you made it this far in the video, go to inyourfaceart.com. If you want to purchase some of my artwork, if you want to support the channel, man, use a promo code. It's called FACE20, FACE 20. Okay, the numbers 2 and 0. So FACE, the number 2 and the number 0. It'll give you 20% off anything on my website. All right, so use that promo code and enjoy yourself, man. Get something shipped to your house, man. It has some dope, has some in your face art merch. All right, I'm gonna talk to you guys later. You already know what it is. We make art, we sell art. In your face. Peace.